welcome to Coffee with the Mayor. I'm going to give Avi a minute to mute. There we go. I'm Terissa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It is our pleasure, our honor to facilitate this event every single month. We're back here in City Hall. We're right here coming to you from the dais and excited to do so. We're going to be joined by the mayor, of course, in just a few moments, but we're going to spend a little bit of time, as we always do, with our sponsor. It is, of course, MIDFLORIDA. MIDFLORIDA has come into our community and really become such a great partner to many of us, and we are so honored to have them as the sponsor of this show again for the second year in a row. Please welcome from MidFlorida Credit Union, Shrita Walker, who is going to introduce our special guest today. Shrita, are you there?
Good morning. I am here.
Good.
Good
I
morning.
can barely hear
Thank you.
But they'll work on that. But I can hear you enough to make out what you're saying. But welcome to the show. So nice to see you, if only virtually. Today we have a special guest, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So with me, I have Karina Talalay. She is the branch manager at our Gatlin branch.
Yeah, we know.
And I also have, say hi, Karina.
Hi, Karina.
That's me. Oh.
And we also have Patricia Conklin. She is our assistant branch manager at the Gatlin location.
Hi, Patricia.
Good morning, everyone.
Great. So we brought on special guests. So I am guessing that you have something special to talk about. Am I right?
So
Yes.
I'll let the ladies talk about some of the promotions that we have going on at the branch. And, you know, I'll kind of jump in and out if I need to.
Sounds good.
Hi.
Hi.
So one of our promotions, we have home equity loans and home equity lines of credit with no closing cost. Also, we have a promotion with new members with a full package checking savings. We have a promotion of $300. If they become a member, they open their checking savings, they do direct deposit, and if they apply for a loan or a credit card, they will get the $300.
That sounds awesome. That's just
approved. And get approved, of course.
Yeah, that's just a free $300 by opening an account with you.
That's right.
Very good. When they open the credit card, do they have to spend a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time to get it?
No.
Wow.
All the qualification is if they get approved, they get the $300. If they don't apply for a loan, we give them $200 if they do the direct deposit.
Very good. We're so happy that we are seeing some events come back at MidFlorida Credit Union Event Center with the City of Port St. Lucie. So I wanted to take a minute to thank you guys for that. But what else is open? I mean, your branches are still open, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We still, the lobby is open and also the drive-through.
And regular hours?
Regular hours.
Yes.
So starting Monday, all the branches will be at regular hours.
Wow, very good, very good. Shrita, what else do you need to tell us before we head into our coffee with the mayor
Oh, well, Patricia, since we were talking about the promotions, I know you spoke on the personal. What about business?
Oh, yeah, the business. They get the 500.
The 500.
Yes.
Right. The business account, we offer the $500 promotion. So they have to open the business savings and the checking, and they have to maintain.
There's certain stipulations that go with it for you to get the 500.
Very good. And with open office hours, that's pretty exciting news. So head on down.
Yeah, we're one of the few areas, locations. MidFlorida has all of the branches open, whereas other, institutions are not there yet. So our members are loving that for sure. And then one other thing on the home equities that we offer no closing costs on the line of credit, we have a 1.99 special for the first 12 months.
Wow.
Fixed.
1.99. You can't beat those rates. We have great rates right now. Now's the time to be looking into refinancing some of these things that you may have higher credit rates on. And
Yes,
again,
car
in order
loans, too.
Yeah. In order to be a member of
We've
Mid-Florida
got the
Credit
best of
Union,
the
you only
best
have to
of
live, work, or worship in our community or a community that has a Mid-Florida branch, correct?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. All right. Well, I want to thank you once again for being our partner. I can't wait till we can all get back in the studio. I'm getting more used to Zoom, but it just does not replace actual in-person interaction with other people, other humans. So I miss you all very much. It's nice to see you. And thank you for joining the chamber on some of our Zoom calls that we do. I appreciate that very much too. And hopefully we'll get Patricia out more as well. But
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking forward.
I am too. Always nice to see you guys. Again, before we leave, give them the website and your locations here in St. Lucie County.
So we have, it's www.midflorida.com. We have 3 amazing locations in St. Lucie County, which is US 1, the original Port St. Lucie, Gatlin, and of course, St. Lucie West.
Very good. And they can apply and become a member right online, right?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, have a great day. It was nice seeing you. I will see you soon. And big thanks to Mid-Florida Credit Union.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Okay, I thought they were talking amongst themselves, but they were talking to me. Welcome back to Coffee with the Mayor. I'm Terissa Aronson from St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. I'm now joined by the one, the only, the mayor of this beautiful city of Port St. Lucie, Honorable Gregory Oravec. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Terissa from afar.
I know, very far. I feel like we're getting even farther.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's a distance, there's a gulf between us.
There is, and I feel that way metaphorically as well, because it's just so hard to stay connected with people in this time. But I claimed I was getting better at it and used to it with Zoom, but apparently people that have been watching my Zooms are calling me out on that. They don't
Really, I
believe
thought
me.
you got some compliments on Zoom, so don't be too hard on yourself.
I'm not great at it, but I do my best. You said you wanted to just take questions today and hoping that our Facebook audience will engage. We typically do have a really good Facebook audience, and I did mention we had one whole person that joined us.
Yes, one whole person. Sir, do you have any questions today? I do. Okay.
Do you want to kick us off? Go ahead. I think they want to get you to the mic, though. I forgot about that, so people at home can hear it. Oh, and then Avi's going to type the questions that people are asking for. Well, isn't this an upgrade?
Sure, that's what he does.
I like it, Avi. All right. So we'll let our in-studio audience go first.
So my name is Pete Previtt. I'm a resident.
Oh, he's here and he's virtually and in person.
Yes, I did. I'm doing both.
Oh, I see.
Excellent.
He is our Facebook question as well. All right.
Good morning.
So I was just curious, Mr. Mayor. I've been reading some news about businesses coming to the city, which is fantastic. I was just wondering if you could give some additional info on maybe some of the other conversations that you're having with other companies, maybe not specifically, but just in general. And what are some of the things that are attracting these larger companies to come to the city?
Sure, thank you, Pete. Appreciate you being here. I hope you're doing well and your family and team are doing well. As it relates to economic development, it's very heartening that we're continuing to move in the right direction, even during this pandemic and the underlying crisis and all the uncertainty that puts into the business world. As you pointed out, we've been really fortunate to still make some major announcements during this time. And so our hotspot, if you will, in a good way, the hotspot in a good way is tradition. We also call it Southern Grove. You might hear it referred to as the Jobs Corridor. But we have 4 running miles between the Tradition Parkway / Gatlin Interchange and Becker Road along I-95 there. And so that area that hugs I-95, the 4 miles that hugs it, just to the west of 95, is our Jobs Corridor. And so a previous city council said, hey, this is the opportunity to overcome the GDC legacy, and this district's going to be all about job creation and business. We have plenty of houses. There'll even be houses further west of the Jobs Corridor, but this is going to be about job creation. And of course, some major investment went into the Jobs Corridor and Southern Grove, and some of it didn't work out the way the council of the time wanted or that any of us would want, but a lot of good stuff did happen, didn't it? And so the anchor for that area is Cleveland Clinic. So we have one of the best names in healthcare. It's now at the hospital. They want to expand. So they're talking to the city about, hey, you know, we built the first phase, then we turned around and built a second phase because we opened up and we had this kind of demand. We want to work with you on building out for the future and in bringing regional, national, and even international resources to this location. So Cleveland Clinic is going to just be a huge hub, a huge anchor, one of the two best names in healthcare, according to many, right there on the north side. Then across the lake from it, you know, we had a lemon in VGTI, but we worked with the Cleveland Clinic on the Florida Research Innovation Center. And during this pandemic, they announced that they're going into emerging pathogens like COVID and a number of other, and they already have brought in world-class researchers to that facility. So that's been turned into lemonade. It's pretty exciting what they're doing there with Cleveland Clinic brand, with the Lerner Institute brand. They've brought in one of the best non-American companies at getting NIH, National Institutes of Health grants. And they are partnering with FIU. And then, of course, Torrey Pines has been acquired by Florida International University, FIU. So just that medical research hub around that lake is, I mean, it's going off. And then just to the south of that, that's where you see the manufacturing, the advanced manufacturing coming to be in PSL. So we know that City Electric, 411,000 square feet got done in about a year. Obviously 40 million plus capital investment, and it kept jobs in PSL and it added tens of jobs to that location. Oculus Surgical is building their headquarters. You have seen the announcement for Excel. Excel is a high-tech wire manufacturer. It's like, man, how can you build wire in America? Isn't that offshore? No, they put the wire in rocket ships and airplanes, and just their process is superior. It's a high-end product. And they wanted to be close to the Space Coast, but they liked our location. And so, you know, you ask Pete, why? Well, it's location, location, location. We have these 4 running miles, fully entitled for 10 million plus square feet, and the place that connects South Florida to Central Florida and the Space Coast. You can get to most of the major population centers in Florida within 2 hours from PSL, and that kind of sets us off and puts us in position for this growth. And then, of course, we offer Florida lifestyle at best value. So if you're into Florida, if you're into the lifestyle of Florida, if you like a state that has no state income taxes, then you love Florida. And then if you love Florida, why wouldn't you love PSL? Because we provide Florida lifestyle at best value. So those are some of the big dynamics. But, you know, and this is already what Terissa would call a long-winded answer. But there's just so much going on there that we're just kind of scratching the surface. So Excel wire manufacturer, not only are they building their high-tech plant there, they've partnered with the master developer, and they plan on really adding hundreds of thousands of more square feet. So let's say that, you know, their factory is a couple 100,000 square feet. They're going to more than double that with similar uses. And then we, on Monday, will have a contract before the Governmental Finance Corporation. It's kind of the city council wearing different hats. And because technically the Governmental Finance Corporation is the owner of most of Southern Grove, about 1,200 acres, we have a LOI, which will go to a contract, most likely, subject to board approval Monday night, for Sandstone Group. And they're a major light industrial manufacturer developer. And they want to take down 300 acres with an option for another 75. And they already have a couple of premium users lined up. And unfortunately, this is where I can't tell you the good stuff because it's still in the selection process. And the companies that are evaluating the site, they require a non-disclosure. So that information is not readily available. But I'll just tell you that it's a couple of them are major brands, and you would be incredibly proud to see Cleveland Clinic and FIU and Oculus Surgical and City Electric on the north, and then these brands on the south.
It sounds like because it's still early there and there's a lot of open space that some of these big companies can come in and kind of design what they want, right? So there's still a lot of space available, and you know, they could secure lots of acres for their operations.
I think that's very insightful. So whereas in South Florida or even Central Florida or West Central Florida, you're kind of jamming it into a parcel that's wedged against I-4, County Line Road, 75. This is 1,200 acres. It runs 4 miles between 2 interchanges right down the street from the Turnpike interchange. And then it's in a beautiful master plan community in the safest large city in Florida. So we definitely have some compelling advantages there. And then, you know, one of the great things about PSL I've always found is that we have the proximity to bigger cities, and we're a growing, vibrant place, but we don't have the same level of issues that some big cities have as far as traffic goes and crime and things like that. But with traffic, you know, you might be able to get to West Palm Beach or Palm Beach Gardens from here faster than you could somewhere else in Palm Beach County, just because of the traffic dynamics.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. I actually didn't mind that one because, you know, of course, economic development is my
A lot of
jam.
businesses going on.
Yeah. Plus, you know, we're not getting a ton of questions on Facebook, but we are getting an oldie but a goodie. One of my favorites to throw at you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
You egging me?
I'm egging you. This is a virtual Zoom version of egging you, and so this one's come up over the years many times, and it's popped back up again.
Yes.
How do we feel about local eggs?
So the chickens have come home to roost again. And so this is a real policy issue. There's a lot of people interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
So a little history here in PSL. PSL has considered the chicken issue in the past. I want to say it was around 2011, 2012. And it might have been 2011 because I might have been the assistant city manager at the time.
I thought you might have been city manager. I don't know. It seems
I think it was
to linger
it was right before, but I mean, I was a city manager in 12, so it's still in that 11,
in that area.
11, 12 time frame. And I've actually put together kind of a one-page white paper on this because I am getting so many contacts.
Wow.
So I'll be happy to share about. I'll be happy to share that. But here's what it boils down to in my mind.
Hard boils down to
Yeah, pretty much.
all the egg puns we can get in.
Oh yeah, you can't make an omelet without cracking a couple eggs here. So, as it turns out, just so people know, I'm personally pro chicken.
Good.
And back in 2011, this was an emerging issue, and a lot of cities were going in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought it to the council, and it was a hugely divisive issue.
Hugely.
Really blew my mind that it was that divisive in the community. You had the Realtors Association of the time take up a formal position against it.
Yeah.
There were letters to the editor. There were packed chambers. If you think about the mask debate right now, well, think about that as being the local version of the mass debate centered around chickens.
Right.
That's how passionate it was. And, you
I
know,
remember.
what I've come to learn or to believe is that you don't want too many divisive issues in your community. Now, if there's a moral imperative, there's a legal imperative, that's one thing. You should take it on no matter the cost. But on something that's a choice for a community, I just, in good faith, understanding how it went, I'm not going to be the one to bring this issue forward again. I tried. I'm personally in favor of it, but it's not the number one thing in our strategic plan. You know, here in PSL, we're driven by a strategic plan. Economic development is much more important to me
Yes.
than backyard chickens. But the weird thing is they take up the same amounts of political capital and time and energy at council meetings. So those 50-50 issues, unless it's a strategic priority, I'm just not sure that that's the best use of the city's time. But what's happening is the county's considering it. And a couple of years ago, the city of Stewart was considering it. And to all of my backyard chicken-loving friends, I'm like, well, you know, when other jurisdictions that are close to us evaluate these policy issues, that's an opportunity. But Stewart dropped the issue. Like they were on the cusp of approving it, and then, oh, where'd it go?
Yeah. Well, I think that you're spot on when you say there are bigger mountains to climb and to die on than the ability to have chickens in your backyard. Because I like the idea too. During the pandemic, we saw a rarity on, or not being able to get chickens very readily. And so I understand that might have caused it to come back around again. But we as a community have to focus on what's best as the community as a whole. And I understand people want to have rights to do what they want to do in their own backyard. And I do understand it and I agree with it to some degree. But when it's divisive to the community and it doesn't progress your community forward for everyone, I understand where the city of Stewart, it disappeared, and where it was not ever, there was not any change here in our city, because we do have something that says you cannot do it right now.
Right now, it's against the code.
Yes.
And what I would do is I would try to meet with the other council members, because you already know, if you're interested in this issue, or even if you're opposed to this issue, that I'm inclined to support it, pursuant to common sense, straightforward regulations. So since 2011, more cities across the state and the country have allowed backyard chickens. And there's just some basic rules that lessen the likelihood that it'll negatively impact your neighbors. So there's the old, you don't have a rooster.
Yeah, no rooster.
You don't need any wake-up calls. And guess what? It's not like the cartoons where they crow exactly, they give their call exactly at sunrise. They might do it anytime. So
throughout the day.
Roosters are a no-no. A chicken coop
Yep.
has to be cleaned, has to be maintained, just like the rest of your property, has to be set back from your neighbor's property. Mm-hmm. And there's a number of chickens. And so thinking of my 2011 younger, less experienced, less wise self, if you would just look at it coolly from a factual basis, how is a chicken different than a parrot that someone leaves on their back porch? You tell me. They're both birds.
Yeah.
I'd argue that a parrot can make more noise than a chicken.
Absolutely.
So
they carry the same, they both spread feces, they carry the same fleas. It is very, very similar.
What are the downsides of a chicken compared to the downsides of a dog? Mm-hmm. So a chicken's most likely not going to attack the neighbor. You got to really, unless you're chasing.
No, I didn't say I couldn't take it.
A little rocky.
Yeah.
You're trying to catch the chicken to work on your speed drills. I just don't think the bite is going to be.
That's what I was going to say. The likelihood of their attack is probably similar, if not greater, but the likelihood that I will be able to survive it is much, much better.
All right, because remember, this isn't roosters, so we're not. We're not talking about getting really tagged by. But when you think about the impact, and you think about manure and all those things, is it substantively different? So in PSL, you're allowed to have dogs, cats.
Yep.
Those are the classics, right? We accept those are pets. But we also allow potbelly pigs.
Okay.
And then, of course, you can have things like parrots, snakes, and fish, et cetera. But so I just from a cool intellectual basis, I don't understand intellectually what the differences are. It's more of a feeling that we're a city, not the country. And that was really the emotional argument and the feeling argument that I heard from the public at that time, is that, hey, we're an up and coming city, and this is what you have at a farm. So if you want a farm, go live on 5 to 20 acres in unincorporated county.
I think chickens are designated as aggregate animals. But it's funny to me that we're still getting more questions about it. I'm reading them as they're coming in. But the reality is there would be regulations on where they had to be kept in a pen. You weren't going to be you couldn't have your chickens running around your yard. It was going to be in coops, and then you have to regulate that. So you're bringing on another expense for the city as well, is because you can put these rules into play. You have to have them in a coop. You have to have them clean. But then you have to have somebody that's going to go around and check to make sure all that's being done. Because there's always bad actors. You know, this person that wants chickens might be the best chicken coop keeper in the land, but there's always bad actors. So you still have to regulate it, which causes another expense to the city as well.
No, but I just don't understand how it's different than dogs or cats or.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but we don't have, I don't think we have regulation on birds that you keep at home.
Well, if we would still have noise complaints.
Yes.
And we could still have odor complaints.
But if you have a bird, we don't have to go out and check to make sure that your bird is, you know, kept correctly, because we don't have regulation on keeping your
You'd
bird.
be surprised how many parrot complaints I've gotten over the years.
Oh, I wouldn't be, because I've seen some of them, but yeah. But that's just a noise complaint. It's not is the coop clean? Are they kept in, you know? So there's a lot more that goes with that. But I do understand your philosophical question. What's the difference between a bird and a parrot and a chicken, species-wise?
Or actually any other pet.
Yeah.
The difference to me is just custom.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
I
dogs
think
and
it's
cats are
our
family
perception.
members, chickens are not.
Yeah, it's our perception of them.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, but as far as the impacts go, so I definitely think those arguments can be made. If I were pro-chicken or, again, anti-chicken, people probably aren't anti-chicken. I mean, they're delicious if prepared properly. But,
Oh, no,
you know,
some people are
if you are against
PETA will be calling.
the backyard chicken, well, I mean, unless you're a vegetarian, you're probably eating some chicken
Yeah.
over red meat for sure.
Yeah.
I would watch the county, because if the county moves forward and actually goes through with approving it, then it's going to be in the community already.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not the city appeals.
Because don't forget the county intertwines, you know.
Yes.
You'd be
Yeah,
surprised.
your neighbors and that little pocket you thought was the city is actually the county.
Yeah, yeah. River
And-
Park's a great deal of that.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. And so and I just still think the overall trend, the macro trend across the state and the country is in favor of it. So we'll see what happens as it becomes more widespread. But if one of the newer council members or someone who hadn't been part of the past debate, so I was here as a staff person, Councilwoman Martin was on the council. If you got another person to bring it forward, probably after the county approved it, then
We'll see.
then we would see.
Interesting, but fun.
Yes.
I actually think I would maybe like to have chickens. Not lying.
I would have chickens
Yeah, I think I would too.
after I fenced in my yard.
Some friends bring me fresh eggs every now and then, and the difference between those and what I buy at the store is unbelievable.
I'm a big proponent, as you probably remember, I garden.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big proponent of growing your own food.
Yeah.
And if you can do it in a low impact way, like a chicken, it's not like you have a livestock operation, a slaughterhouse.
Right.
You have some backyard chickens that you take care of and they provide you eggs.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Because another rule is no slaughtering chickens in your yard. That's one of the rules. I'm all for that. And the other thing I would do is I would encourage people who are interested in this to, as I do on all issues, whether I agree or disagree, is to organize, polish your position, and then advocate based on your arguments civilly
Yeah.
as much as you can, and also perhaps reach out to the Realtors Association and some of the major groups that opposed it to see if their thinking's changed.
And I typically say chamber, but since it's not an economic issue, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to take a position on chickens. We're going to abstain from the chicken coops. Yes. We probably should move on because we are getting quite a few questions. And so let's do that. Schools.
So just, hey, Anita, the parrots don't have to be in enclosed rooms, and there are parrots kept on back porches all over Port St. Lucie.
Sometimes they're on screens, but yeah, they're everywhere. But always, individual actors. How do you feel about schools reopening? Or do you want to say?
Well, this is one of those cases where I'm just offering my opinion like anyone else.
Okay.
Because it's not my decision to make. It's not the city council's decision to make. So many people that moved to the city, and we're lucky to have lots of new residents, they might have moved from a big city or a place where there was a strong mayor, or they're watching TV and they're watching the mayor of New York do this, or here in Florida, the mayor of Tampa or the mayor of Jacksonville do that.
That is confusing for people, I think.
And we have a council manager form of government.
That's our charter. It's different.
That's right. So the Constitution of the city is the charter, and the charter says we have a modified council manager form of government where the city manager is the chief executive.
Exactly.
And then I'm the chairman of the board, or whoever serves as mayor is the chairman of the board and the ceremonial head.
Yes.
So it's actually, a lot of people are like, hey, I need a job. Hey, can you do this? Tell Public Works that.
Yeah.
None of
You're
those.
not even allowed to do that.
No, it's actually illegal for me to direct staff or to
It is.
interfere in administrative matters. And then, so if you sometimes when you try explaining that, people are like, "Oh, you're just passing the buck. Oh, that's just politician speak." Or I get
Of
some
course.
interesting responses to that. But no, those are
You just don't like me.
yeah, those are the dynamics. That's
Yeah.
what we have to deal with. And, because it's funny, because I've had people come up, political, you might even call them political enemies, come up and say, oh, you think you're the city manager still, or, you're not a strong mayor. Well, you're kind of darned if you do or darned if you don't.
That is definitely opposing opinions.
Yes, and so you get that a lot when you're in this position, which is fine. But those are the dynamics. So I personally, as mayor, do not control schools,
Absolutely
and
not.
neither does the city council.
No
And this
say.
mask order, I cannot impose a mask order. And here again, I'm happy to share my position. And I know that, look, in a city of 200,000 people, we're not going to agree with all the time on all issues.
Mm-hmm.
And we know this to be true with all relationships, right? So everyone that's ever had a significant other out there, including a spouse, how many times have you disagreed? Even if you agree a lot, we know that there's times you've disagreed. And furthermore, not every marriage makes it. So clearly, we don't always agree in our relationships. And it's the same thing here. We don't always agree. I knew that going in, so I never promised that I could agree with all the residents all the time.
Right.
What I promised to do is to hear people out in good faith and to listen to good faith arguments and to always try to help people in good faith, even if I don't agree on an issue. So that being said, I'm always happy to share the positions I take based on the best available information to me. And so on the mask issue, I spoke at the county commission meeting.
You and I both did.
Based on the information available to me, I support masks.
Yes.
But I can't impose a mask order. If I could, we'd already have one. Much disappointment of some. We would already have one, and we would probably have one that's more along the lines of Pinellas County.
I know you, and I believe that that's true. But in this case, we are just advocates in this process because you don't have the power to make that mandate, and you don't have the power to mandate to schools how they're going to reopen or what that looks like.
Right. It's even less with schools. So
Even less.
yeah. So to the point and to your point on the mask issue, because this is a public health crisis and a public health emergency, our county has the lead position, especially because there is a Florida Department of Health St. Lucie County office, and the counties in Florida are technically subdivisions of the state.
Yes.
So due to these dynamics, the county really has the lead. And so there isn't a willingness really of the city to try to trump the county because it's really their position to take on this, and it works better countywide.
It does.
Now, if you get to the nitty-gritty on some of these issues, I do think the city as a whole does have the ability to impose a mask order, but it would require either the city manager as our chief executive doing it or a majority of the city council voting on it. And despite my lobbying efforts, it has not come to the city council, and I do not believe the city manager is willing to sign a mask order or to support one before the city council at this time, based on the information that's available to me. So here again, I'm encouraging people, regardless of your position, organize, articulate your position, polish it, base it on facts and expert opinions to the greatest extent possible, and civilly advocate for your position. Because let me just tell you that I've only been mayor for going on 6 years now, but I've been in public service at local government since 1996. And when you get worked up, it might make you feel good to say, if you don't do this, well, then this is bad thing is going to happen to you.
It might feel good
or
to
I'm not going to support you anymore. I want you to know that that's, for me at least, that's not very persuasive.
No.
That's called an appeal to force. And it's along the same lines of, if you don't do this, I'm going to do something bad.
It's a threat.
Yeah, threats generally are not persuasive. And then a lot of times the people that make them, because I think they're in the moment, they don't realize that there's at least three sides to every story. And there may be a lot of other people on the other side of the issue. And I've shared that, and people have actually gotten upset with me because in the council office, we probably logged about 175 calls over the last 2 weeks.
I think that's low. I thought it'd be
Well, it
worse.
is, because that doesn't include all the Facebook and everything.
Yeah,
So those are
that's true.
phone calls and direct emails. Doesn't include all the social media, and so much is done in social media now.
Yeah.
But, the experience in the council office is probably like, 175 total contacts in the last couple of weeks and 154 and 25 against. So the passionate opposition, it's also important to remember that, you might feel like you're in the majority, but the numbers might indicate something else. Just on a number issue, let alone on the actual substantive factual issues. So that was a long intro to the school issue, but there was also a mass question on there, so trying to get to both.
So tackled them both?
Well, the schools, it's really just pure opinion because there's an elected school board. So a lot of people come to me and say, Mayor or Greg, do this on teachers, do this on curriculum, do this on schools. Don't let schools reopen. There is a county school board that's elected directly by the people, subject to their own sets of rules. And I would tell you that as a voter, you probably have greater sway or just as great a sway or influence because you directly vote them into office. They're elected by you, not by the mayor, not by the mayor and council. We can take an institutional position and lobby and help with those issues. We can bring attention. Obviously, the mayor has a spotlight. I have what they call a bully pulpit. But we can't direct them, and we certainly don't control it. So on this, I'm pretty, there's three sides to every issue. So overall, I think we should all want schools to open. I really do. We should all want schools to open. And the question is, how can we do it safely based upon the best information available to us at the time?
And what does it look like? I get that, and the local school boards are sort of governed by a state agency as well, and there are some things coming down from them, and your governor has some say into that, but I can tell you that your local city government does not. It is the school board and the education system, and then a hierarchy going further towards the national education system.
Yeah, we're in the peanut gallery, and to your point, the president has been very
vocal.
outspoken.
Yeah.
On this issue, but he can't. The only thing that he could do is work to take away the carrots that the federal government provides. So federalism, our form of government, the separation of powers between the federal government and the state governments, education in America is a state issue.
Yes.
And the federal government influences that really through carrots and different grants and different standards.
And funding, yes.
Yeah, the assistance.
Absolutely.
But it's really a state issue. And then further, there's a lot of local control built into the state system. And so that's what you're seeing play out. So you're seeing the president be very vocal. You're seeing the governor be vocal. You're seeing Richard Corcoran, the Secretary of Education, be very vocal. But there's an understanding, and I believe that Secretary Corcoran articulated this, that even though we feel like this at the state, it's a local issue. And so this is being decided school district by school district. And so the same issues that you see play out in the mass debate, as with the overall pandemic, this isn't really a serious illness, this isn't a serious pandemic, it's like the flu, masks don't work. All of those things are playing out at each of the 67 local school boards, and they're trying to chart the best course for their community. And St. Lucie County, I think, has put forward 3 different options.
And so I guess what they're asking is, how do you feel about it? I can tell you my opinion. I like the options. I like for a parent to have some say in what their child or how their child will learn coming in the fall. Maybe some really want their kids back in school. Maybe some are terrified. Maybe some have riskier circumstances within their home, so they're afraid. But if you have options, maybe we can accommodate all. But I do think that the goal should always be to get kids back in school.
Yeah, so we should all be united in that goal. And then it boils down to how can we do it safely, and then our disagreements as a society over the safety issues as far as the seriousness of evaluating how big of a risk it is, what we need to do to be safe. So it doesn't make it any easier, but we at least should all agree that going back to school is the goal. Then how do we do it? I'm with you. I do like the options. Of course, so again, for anyone that's anti-mask, my position you're not going to like, because based on the information, I'm in favor of it. I really think that going back to school physically in that option should come with the mask order, that if you're within 6 feet of someone, you should be wearing a mask. And if you're not, then you don't have to. But I remember being in school hallways. They're pretty crowded. Mm-hmm. The classroom is pretty crowded. Mm-hmm. And unless you take steps there, I see that as being a problem for transmission. By the numbers, there's always exceptions. There's always tragedies. By the numbers, I think it's fair to say that this isn't a deadly disease, relatively speaking, right, for young people. But all the kids I know live at home with their parents and even their grandparents, because we have plenty of mixed generation households in Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie County. So it's not necessarily the kid that you have to worry about. It's the teacher, the staff people at the school, and then at home, I think. Those are the real concerns, and their ability to transmit the disease to those people who are subject to lesser health outcomes and being really sick and even potentially dying. So that's why
I think the choice is a good option, because if you have a grandparent in your home and you are concerned, you maybe don't want your child in the classroom. And I understand the mask debate, and nobody has ever said if you wear a mask, you won't get it and you won't give it to anybody. Nobody has said that. It is not definitive. It is not 100%. But our position at the Chamber always is best practices to a healthy economy. Because what people don't understand, it's funny, after our meeting, Facebook comments, which I typically don't go back to because no good ever comes from it, but I did go back to it. And I saw a lot of comments, and it was, one, frightening, as it often is, which is why I don't typically go back to Facebook. But people were saying, you're still going to get it. You're not. All these things. But our continued point is best practices, and we want to keep business open. And somebody said, it's all about business. Well, business is your quality of life. Business is directly tied to your quality of life. It's your ability to make money. It's your ability to traverse throughout the community and enjoy our resources. So when somebody says, it's about business, well, in my opinion, isn't it always? We all need to work, right? We're constantly worried about our unemployment numbers. So best practices indicates if you wear a mask, you will at least slow the progression of the virus throughout your community. And that's the best I think we can hope for.
Based on the preponderance of the evidence, that's my takeaway. And so when someone who's against masks tells me it doesn't work, I listen, but at the same time, okay, put yourself in my shoes as a decision maker, and you have a layperson, someone who's not an expert in the field, saying this, and you hear them, but on this hand, you have the CDC, the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, Stanford University School of Medicine, the University of Florida.
Our top infectious disease guy.
Top infectious disease, public health officials, and then really getting to the point, your local public health officials, the head of a local Cleveland Clinic saying, we need this, we're concerned, we're running out of room. What do you place greater weight in?
Right.
And so, hey, I hear you, but put yourself in my shoes. if you heard these same arguments, what would you do?
What's best for
Yeah.
all, yeah. And then it also, we had open bars for a time here in Florida, and then we said, no, you can't go to bars. You can't drink at bars. You can get takeout from bars. So basically we turned our bars into 7-Elevens, which is not helpful for our bars. And so we did see a setback. When I say that there has been a setback, there's been a setback. We had open bars, then we closed them again. That's the definition of a setback in the progression of reopening. So that's what we're trying to avoid, is any setback in the reopening process. And if this is what may tip the scales in our favor to stay open, we have to do everything we can to do that. So you and I will probably take a lot more heat again for that viewpoint, because I have members of our chamber that do not agree with me.
Sure.
And
That went to the board, though, right? Your board voted
of course, yeah.
Yes, you're
It's
very
not my
good
first
about
day on the
staying
job.
out of, politics unless the board has taken a formal position.
Yes, I would prefer to typically. It has to make sense it has to be in congruence with the chamber's mission. And if it's not, we tend not to take a stand on it, because everything is divisive and my members never all see things exactly the same way. And I try not to tick off the people that are paying you membership dollars whenever I can't.
So that goes back to my opening comments about, we can't always expect to agree on all issues.
No.
And not every issue should be one that you're willing to go to war for, because war is destructive for both parties. So there's a time to fight. But I think one of the things that has happened in America is we've started fighting about every issue.
We have.
And I don't think you can do that and succeed.
I think social media has really helped people find their voice, good, bad, or indifferent. They have found their voice on social media, and I'm not sure it's great for the way we view each other. During this crisis, I have had more friends coming to me saying, did you know so-and-so thinks such and such? I had no idea. I feel like I don't know them at all. And that has happened probably a dozen times with people in recent months. One, we're in a pandemic. We've got some civil unrest out there, and it is trying times mentally, physically, financially for almost all people in America. And so our emotions are high. So Facebook has been an outlet for that, and we are learning lots about our neighbors. And sometimes it's things I didn't want to know, I have to be honest. But my hope is that everybody can understand we all have the same goal, and that is, let's get back to normalcy. And we're not able to do that, but let's take every step that is humanly possible that has been allowed us to try to get there. But yes, and I got a lot of calls after the mask ordinance meeting, and frankly, I was leery of getting up at that. Because it is such a divisive issue. But as the chamber, and since we took a view, it really is my job to get up and state what that view is. And you were there with me, and you got up, and did you get quite the flack as well?
I had two people immediately after tell me that they no longer supported me.
Aww.
And I thank them for letting me know, and I just share that, hey, I never thought I could go into this job and please everyone all the time. That would be an unrealistic expectation. I'm always willing to listen to you. Here are the reasons why I took the position I did, and I wish you well just the same.
I think we
hit it. Yeah, we're pretty good, and
we're pretty good. I think we got everything.
The thing is, the county order was for businesses only, not everyone else.
Actually, you bring up a good point, because there is a total confusion out there, and we're going to venture on a marketing plan with the county as well. But people do not understand what the ordinance is in place. This is not mask for everyone. This is mask for commercial retail.
It's really the businesses and their employees.
It's business employees. So whether or not you have to wear a mask in public, they have not stated that. That is optional at this point.
Strongly encouraged.
Well, I don't even know if they said that, but
It was the number 2. I don't know if it.
Yeah. But whether or not you have to wear a mask into a particular business, that is up to the business at this point. That is not a county mandate. County has only said employees that are in that business need to be wearing masks. And it's funny because I was speaking to some people and they said some employees didn't have masks. Some places were making the patrons come in with masks because they thought that was they thought the mask didn't apply to the employees, but it applied to the customers. Some were making the customers. So it's all over the map. People are not sure what this ordinance is. It's for employees. If your employees are interacting with the public at all, or even, I think it's only if they are interacting with the public.
Right, so that's the thing. And I would just encourage everyone to actually read what they're taking a position on, one way or the other. So
Yeah.
one of the things built into this ordinance is that you wear a mask when you can't socially distance. So it's not saying under any circumstances that, Terissa, when you leave your front door in the morning, you got to put on a mask and wear it all day.
You do not.
No, you only have to wear it when you can't social distance. So when you can't maintain 6 feet, that's when it happens. And you were bringing up bars before, and this last week or two, I've been reflecting on that old school saying of "say it, don't spray it." Well, the truth is, we all spray it
Oh, you can't help it.
on a microscopic level, right? We all spray it when we're talking. And so when you're in a bar and there's loud music and you've been drinking and you're yelling at each other
Just because
in the
you've been
ear,
drinking?
just because that's the way you have to communicate, you're spraying it all over each other.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
When the choir practice, everyone at choir practice out west got sick at the beginning, and that was studied. It's because everyone is, projecting from the diaphragm, and they're really belting out and having their powerful voice. You're spraying it when you're doing that. Have you ever seen a microphone at a performance? You wouldn't want to zoom in on me when I'm getting passionate on my soapbox.
Yeah.
That's
Turn
how.
the lights down with a little mist, and you will see.
Oh, don't put the
nothing but-
black light on. It'll be scary. But that's really how, this disease spreads. And that's why masks, even though, no, they're not designed to filter out the tiniest virus, it's because it's stopping your spittle from flying.
That's what I always dumb it down for people is it's helping you not spit on me.
Yes.
So please don't.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that. And then, but boy, was that county meeting an eye opener, honestly.
But because it didn't go far enough, the people who are for masks are still contacting us. I think I gotten 3 contacts since I woke up this morning on wanting a stronger mask order. It's come up in the questions here today.
Yeah.
Mayor, why haven't you done it? So, you explain again the form of government and all of that. Martin County did go to a stronger order.
I was just going to say
There's
that.
going to be a Martin County anti-mask protest today, is my understanding. So it's interesting. I read an article last night about the psychology of the mask debate. And I think, we don't like being out of control, having our lives turned upside down.
Absolutely.
And so this is a way for us, whether we're for it or against it, to feel like we're helping to chart a course and to assert some control over our lives. And that was one of the ideas in the article that I read last night also. So it reinforced my thinking.
It's easy to understand, and I think that in a time period where we feel so out of control, we have no control over this pandemic. That people want to they get very sensitive about any further mandates you're going to impose on them. And so I get the psychology of it too, and I understand how people feel. This is my body, So I get that, and I feel for those people because it's easy to feel out of control right now. But then I always kind of pivot it back to, but am I being a part of the solution so we can all get back to a place where we're more comfortable?
Connecting the mask ordinance and chicken ordinance and any other ordinance, because I tend to take some libertarian views. I'm pretty pro rights, personal rights, but there's this great concept that's always stuck with me, that the right for me to spin around and throw my fist ends where your nose begins.
Right.
And so I have my rights and should have my rights until they infringe upon your rights.
Exactly.
And so for me, you should have a chicken until it infringes on the enjoyment of my property. And because the mask is really helping me to protect you, my right to be free of a mask shouldn't negatively impact your life and result in you getting sick
Yeah.
or dying.
Which is a good point. Well, I'm going to get really philosophical here, but if you think about it, the mask, as we've said many, many times, you wearing a mask protects me, my wearing a mask protects you. So I think that makes more sense than even some of our older laws that we've all made our peace with, like seatbelts. Seatbelt doesn't necessarily protect me if you're wearing it. That is for your protection. But yet that still is a law. And that mask is for my protection. So wouldn't it make sense that mandate is really, truly for others and not just your own safety? And I don't think people look at it that way.
Well, I do think that those are good examples and that many experts are actually pointing to those examples. But the thing is with seatbelt laws, helmet laws, where helmets are required, there is a public cost. And that's actually articulated in the decisions on it. So you not wearing your seatbelt and going out your windshield is on you until they take you to a hospital that
Yep.
covers the costs that
That's
you
a
can't
financial
pay
cost.
and gets covered by the government and all of us in the end.
Which
so
is
you are
absolutely true.
imposing it on the rest of us by your
Financially.
choice.
Financially. But same could be said for the mask. Yes, not only are you doing it health-wise, but financially, because by you getting me sick, I got to go to the hospital, not
And
enough.
when I can't pay, we're all going to pay.
Yeah, we're all going to pay. Our insurance premiums are going to go up. Our doctor bills go up. You know, the
Well,
aspirin
the problem is we're not all insured.
Yeah, exactly. But those that are insured, those costs somewhat get written into their insurance. So their insurance costs go up. Because you're not insured, when those people that are insured are paying a lot of that funding for the uninsured. And so there's another philosophical debate. But we really get in the weeds today on that one.
Well, we did. We went deep. We got philosophical.
We did
appreciate
get
everyone
deep.
sticking with us. Avi,
Holy
which
moly.
one's my live camera? Where are the people of PSL at?
You're over
Over
here.
there? All right. So
Yeah,
I
that
just
one's mine.
want to welcome Michiyuki Kubo. So thank you for your comments. Feel free to call me at 871-5159 if you have any additional questions or we didn't answer some part of your mass question. But Danae Alonzo Martinez, who just moved from Miami and loves it here, we're so glad to have you. And we hope that you keep loving Port St. Lucie. Check out the Citizens Academy and be part of it, be proud of it. Maybe be like Pete, who's out there. He's a cheerleader for the community and so excited about all of the economic development that's going on that he's throwing me great softballs. We always appreciate citizens like that or who are here really to celebrate some of the good things going on. And remember, even with COVID-19, with the pandemic, we had a terrible tragedy this last week, and I hope that you have prayed or you have thought about our family on Morningside there. We had a terrible tragedy. It's very unusual something like that happens in PSL. And even in the face of these great tragedies and these moments of sadness, we're very lucky to live in PSL. We have a lot of good things going on, even during difficult times. And if we keep working hard, smart, and together, we're going to get through them better than we would if we didn't. And we're going to do our very best, and we're just going to keep getting better, and we're going to be that safe, beautiful, and prosperous city for all people. And this too shall pass, and we're just going to keep reaching for the sky, because the sky's the limit of our potential.
It is, and we'll get there. We definitely will get there.
But thank you. Thank you for taking positions on things. Thanks for being an active part of our community and doing everything that you can. We do this coffee with the mayor, and a lot of people say, Mayor, why are you doing this event at 8:30 in the morning? And I've joked about martinis with the mayor before.
Okay.
Or margaritas with the mayor. I'm more of a martini guy. Maybe you could have a margarita.
I'm not sure.
We won't bring the
see that.
cameras to that.
I was going to say, I'm not
But
sure I could.
think
do that.
about maybe like twice a year that
Twice a year
we could
party?
do maybe a Thursday night at a local establishment and have an evening mixer like at 7 o'clock or something.
I would love that. I would do that now, honestly, except for this little pandemic
Yes,
thing. But
this is obviously, I don't want anyone at home mistaking my position for, the mayor wants to go party up at
Yeah.
a bar during the pandemic.
But no,
This
I
is
think
for
it's-
after, once we get back to normal again. And we will get back to normal, just
Well.
like the 1917-18 flu didn't last forever. Whether it's a year and a half, we're going to get through this. We will. And so when we get to that other side, that's what I'm talking about.
We do. And when we get to the other side, I'm gonna need a martini.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I could use a little fun, a little lightheartedness in my life for sure. Well, I want to thank everybody on Facebook for being with us because we had a great engaged crowd. I like being live on Facebook. I hope we can do that.
Oh, yeah, we'll have that. Even when we
Because
go
it
back to
really
normal.
is nice to have that interaction with those that can't make it down here at 8:30 in the morning. And then, of course, our Mid-Florida Credit Union partners with the city, partners with the chamber. We adore them, and they've always been great to us. Of course, all your staff here for trying to get this up and running.
We're very lucky to have the staff we do. They're pretty amazing. It's funny. The chamber, you guys meet first thing in the morning. You're business people. You want to
We
get
do.
stuff done. I had someone last night who was pretty passionate on the old mask debate, and they represented that this was like a conspiracy on my behalf to have this meeting first thing in the morning so that, I avoided hearing from the public.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah, and I was like, no, it's the chamber event. They tend to meet right first thing in the morning and get their meetings out of the way for the day.
This is actually late for us.
Yeah, I know it is, especially when we stay so late. But thank you, and it'll be great once things get back to normal if we put a couple evening mixers in.
Yeah, I think we will. We'll get probably maybe 3 of them a year.
That'd be
We'll
awesome.
Get an evening meeting. But you're right. As a business group, we try to do everything during the business day. This is sort of our business time, and that's what we consider this. But it does end up impacting the residents, so I do want to include them. We'll do it We'll do it.
That'd be great.
I'm going to say February.
That's a great aspirational goal.
I want to have a goal. I want to have a goal to get back to normal.
Subject to change.
You're already poo-pooing on my goal.
I'm just being realistic. Setting expectations while maintaining flexibility.
Okay. But anyway, thank you to everybody for joining us today. And we will be back yet again next month. So have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.